Ja, ich weiß.
Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lenz and you're watching Get Germanized Autumn Exploration of Germany. This is what we're going to do today. It's just going to be a trip, driving around, talking about what we see, because there's a lot to see in Germany during autumn. Just driving in a direction. I don't actually know where we're going. This is just an exploration video to show you, again, what Germany looks like, just different areas. Also, well, just chit-chat, I suppose. So kind of a podcast, but not really. Actually, I just dropped off my dog Shari at the doggo hairdresser, so we got some time to kill while waiting for her to get back in her prettiness. So that's what we're doing today. You see more and more motorbikes again in Germany during this time of the year because it is so beautiful that everyone just wants to, well, get out, drive around for a joy cruise, I suppose. This is a typical German village, very small, very cozy. Actually, on my way here, I saw the most beautiful foliage that you can imagine. I'm not sure if we're gonna see the same because we're driving a different direction now. But if nothing else, we're gonna see some German architecture, as you can see, and German villages. German villages are super quaint usually, in comparison to cities for sure. It's very cozy feeling, very homely. You're gonna see a lot of pubs. You're gonna see a lot of Kneipen, as we call it. Even though German Kneipen are different from, for example, British Kneipen, British pubs, insofar that here, mostly older people will be in the pub, especially in villages. It might be a little bit different if you go to a major city. If there's a bar there, a pub there, obviously different story altogether. But for villages here, if you go to a Kneipe, the chances are that most of the customers there is going to be, well, older people. Interesting factoid for you here. Oh look, the foliage is beginning again. Very nice. I saw like a mountain range kind of thing in the distance. I'm not sure how close that actually is. Maybe we can, well, get closer and see. Close-ish, I suppose. Hope the lighting is sufficient still, because it is now 3:51 p.m. But since it's getting to that darker time, it's gonna get darker sooner during the day, like anywhere else in the world, I suppose. At some point, at least. Some point or another. So it is at the moment, at least at the end of October, well, pretty much dark around 6:30-ish, something. Not 100% sure on that, but about that time it's gonna be dark. So yesterday I actually went on a really long walk in total darkness at 7 p.m. and I was like, oh shit, I guess it's getting into winter soon, at least. Here, that sign, by the way, meant that the 70 zone is over, meaning I can now drive 100 kilometers per hour. That is usually the normal speed limit on open roads like this, outside of villages. As soon as you enter a village, the speed limit is 50 kilometers per hour. I'm not sure how much that is in miles. Sometimes you will see village names with like a green village sign, a green sign, instead of the yellow one that is coming up right there. That means 50. So you have to go down to 50 kilometers per hour. In Tonnenheide, not sure where that is exactly, but the green one means it's an offene Ortschaft, meaning you can drive 100 kilometers per hour, as far as I remember at least. So it doesn't really change anything, it's just indicating, hey, here's a village. And here this sign means 30, it says kindergarten with a time limit. That means during that time you have to drive 30 here because there's a kindergarten nearby and people might be crossing the streets. So there's actually a graveyard here on the left. Here on the right, I think that is Gartentechnik, yeah, garden and John Deere, a John Deere store. That's interesting, actually, like a farmer's kind of store that sells, I guess, like big machinery and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. On the left there was a Landgasthaus, meaning like a restaurant and a hotel kind of thing. And back there in the distance, I see a windmill. Usually those old style windmills are not really in use anymore. What happens with those mostly is that people either live in them or there are museums that have been built into them. Just local ones that tell you about, well, I guess the history of the village, so to speak. In my village, actually, we have a couple live in those windmills. I'm not sure if you can see it, actually. Nah, it's like off the street on the right there, but still, pretty cool. By the way, people will be driving very slow if they see that I'm filming, because they think I am police. Because obviously police is gonna have like speed cameras and everything as well. But here we are leaving the village now, meaning now we can drive again. And here on the right it says dürfen überholt werden, with a little tractor sign underneath the sign that says you cannot overtake anyone. You can overtake no one but tractors, because tractors are obviously going to be so slow that they're going to hold up the entire traffic if you don't overtake them. So that's why usually that sign excludes tractors, but only if the tractor is underneath it. So keep that in mind as well. Hier says Straßenschäden, meaning the street is like damaged in areas, so you need to be careful. Because a common misconception about Germany is that everything is super, well, I don't want to say intact. Yeah, I guess intact. Like that everything is super clean, everything is repaired all the time and in a neat shape, so to speak. That is not the case. Oh, look at that crane. I think they're doing the roof of that house here on the right. Interesting. Very cool. It's actually a restaurant. Another one of those where it's a hotel and a restaurant at the same time. Huh. We have quite a few of those, especially here in these country areas. There's a 50 zone coming up. And also another village, another small town. But since I don't really want to drive in cities now, even though I guess there is more to talk about in these cities or towns. Let me know in the comments below, what do you want to see in future videos like this? More country roads or more small villages and towns? I suppose more small villages and towns are more interesting to you, because if you want to come here and visit and live here, that's what you're going to see. So you want to see what you can expect, I suppose. That's what I always say as well, is when you go to a village in Germany, you're going to see more of the real Germany. Because yes, I mean, big cities are cool and there's lots to do and people are going to speak more English, but that's exactly also why smaller places like this are more interesting in a way as well. Because there aren't as many foreigners and people are less likely, I suppose, to speak English. At least the older generations. Younger folk usually have it in school and most people will speak it. My age, I suppose. Not everyone though, but many. In Germany you will often see elderly people, like the lady here on the right, run around with these strollers? No, not strollers. What are they called? The Gehhilfe in Germany, a walking aid. Well, I guess that's what it's called in English, a walking aid. Here, this is well, you have stop signs. in other cities as well, but yeah, now we get a 30 zone because it's the inner city, or inner town, I guess. And usually they are verkehrsberuhigt, meaning traffic calmed, where, well, you have to drive slower than usual. This city here is called Raden, and it's actually where my PO box is, my post box, where people send me stuff. And it's, well, not big necessarily, but not tiny either, right? So it's like a medium-sized town, I would say, with a cinema here on the right. Have not been to this cinema in ages. It's been a long time because of Corona, obviously. At first they were just completely shut down. They just opened so sporadically. It's also interesting driving in cities. A bit more stressful, I suppose, but not really at the moment. But you have to be more careful, more aware than, well, in a village or something like that, obviously, even though you always have to be aware. Here's another rechts vor links rule. You can see it by this dotted line on the ground, that the people who come from the right may go first. So you have to be careful. I talked about this in another video. If there's a sign, a Vorfahrtsign, like a sign that gives you the right of way, then obviously that rule is not active. Oh, I think this is actually where my PO box is. I don't live in Raden, obviously, but here on the right, next to this car place, it's interesting. Here, there's on the right is one of these Vorfahrt signs that gives you the right of way, this yellow and white one. Back there is another one, so they're reactivating it for that part of the road, I suppose. What is that person doing here? Interesting. Sometimes I just enjoy looking at like these, I don't know, just areas I've never been to or that I am not in often. It's very interesting even to me because everything is a little bit different. Different architecture, just different houses, different people. Here in the countryside, if you don't have a car, you are in a bad place, in a bad situation. Because, well, it's not that easy to get around. We have buses, as you can see, here's bus stops everywhere with these H, this yellow-green H sign. That means bus stop, Haltestelle, like a holding spot. So you can get around, but it is obviously more inconvenient. And we have train stations, obviously, but to get from one village to the next, for example, you will have to have a car most of the time if you don't want to be bound by time. If you want to have a more convenient way of getting around. And obviously, if I didn't have one, I wouldn't be able to show you all this. I could just sit on the bus the same route every time. I'm pretty sure there's no bus route going here. I mean, maybe, I don't know, actually. Can't promise you that, but yeah. I just enjoy being able to, you know, go off-road, so to speak. Not off kilter. This, I've been here before in another Car Thoughts episode. My friend Dave was standing right there at the bridge. I was picking him up, or acting like I was picking him up, actually. Staged this. So I'm gonna drive this way because I think we have not driven here last time. Interesting. Here on the right, I'm not sure if you can see it, they mowed the grass, and that's why there's like these green lines on the field, these little piles. They pile them up, and then later, when it's dry, I think collect it and roll it up into haystacks and stuff like that, I suppose. So a lot of farmland here. If I can include a drone shot, if I think of doing that, you can see that a lot of like square-shaped farmland can be seen from the air. There's just so much here in Germany in general, I suppose, and obviously in rural areas. Here, I really love these yellow colors during autumn. It's very pretty. Actually, I'm not 100% sure anymore what this sign means with the... okay. Yeah, okay, that means there's a train crossing, like train tracks are coming. And this sign there is, this is a lorry train track. Because I believe in this area, this is not a normal train track anymore, because normal trains are going here, but they set up like a lorry kind of track where tourists from other villages and towns can come and then drive the lorry. That would be actually an interesting video. I hope, at least. I mean, I guess at first it would be kind of interesting and then it would get old. But it is still cool that they have that here. Oops. Gonna have to wait until that car has passed. As you can also see, these roads are quite narrow. When a friend visited me recently and, another car was coming from the front, and it looked basically like there was only room for one car on the road. But then also, obviously, you have to go onto the grass and make room. Some people stop and wait until the cars pass, but most people will just drive very slowly, you know. And this is very pretty as well. The sky there looks really cool. Very cool indeed. This sign here means that you have the right of way for this particular crossing, because the middle line was thicker, for example. And this sign here means you have to look out, basically left and right, and give way to everyone else. Now, this is a very pretty house. They had like firewood stacked in front of the house, like very cliche. I love it. Looked very nice. Very nice indeed. There's this wooden house here on the right that I've passed a couple of times, because this is, again, the way to the PO box. It looks so cool, I cannot show you really at the moment. If you've seen it, good for you. It's very pretty. Must have been expensive too. Looks very looked after as well, because my problem with wooden houses like these Holzhäuser is that obviously you have to keep them in good shape and paint them and stuff like that. Otherwise, they're gonna fall into disrepair and look very bad at some point. So last time around this time, when I filmed, after like 20 minutes or so, one of my GoPros was basically shutting off. Because it was overheating. Let's hope this time this won't be a problem. Because I actually turned down the temperature in the car a little bit to counter this. What are they doing here? Standing waiting for me. Here, this is a typical German, I guess, neighborhood within a smaller town. Like little garden patches. Here is another rechts vor links area where you have to give way. Little garden patches with fences. Not sure how similar it is to other countries, but maybe you can tell me. Be interesting to hear about. It's very small. Like all the roads here are tiny, very narrow. Here's another right of way to rechts vor links to have a look. Oh wow, look at this house here on the right, like a little villa. That's pretty cool. Haven't seen one of those in a while. This is a Siedlung, a settlement we call it. Like an area where there's a lot of houses where people just live here, no stores and nothing, just houses. I thought it says beer garden here, but it said Brinkgarten. Brink garden or something. Probably not. Oh, a lot of rechts vor links areas here. Makes sense. Again, it is a settlement, so. Oh. See? If you're not careful, that stuff can go badly very quickly. It's a good thing we were careful. I don't know what that is on the right there. Looks like, I don't know. Is this art? Or can that go? I don't know. There's a saying in German. Ist das Kunst oder kann das weg? Is it art or can it go? Oh, look at the doggo over there. Very cute. Very cute doggo. Waiting for a lot of cars because it's a main road crossing. But at least you were able to see cute doggos, right? That's something. Going back into town. Because this town is particularly interesting. I enjoy it. Especially these living quarters, so to speak, with the new houses everywhere. Young couples building new houses and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Someone waiting to be picked up, wondering what we're doing, looking after me, looking after the car, I guess. Lots of rechts vor links areas. And this means we cannot, damn it. Whoa, 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 whoa. The road is very bad here. Damn, we have to go around and then come back. The dude knew that probably. He was like, he's going the wrong way. Actually, we're just gonna go left. So we don't have to face him and be embarrassed. Actually, I'm not sure if you can go there. Okay, we have to face him and be embarrassed. He didn't face us. I didn't have to be embarrassed. That's funny. But yeah. Very interesting settlement indeed. Are these kind of videos entertaining for you? Like, are you enjoying them? Let me know. Because for me, it's a lot of fun. It's driving around and you can come with me. Oh wow, look at this canopy here. Is that canopy the right word? These trees here, the Herbstlaub. Interesting, these autumn leaves. Very pretty. And a little doggo. Another doggo. More doggos coming up. That's my favorite thing about any country. People with dogs. Very cute. Oh wow, this is particularly beautiful. Very nice. Very nice indeed. There's more houses coming up, more interesting stuff hopefully. The house on the right there has a large window front. Wow. It must be very nice when the sun is hitting. It. Very cool. That's something I would think of as well when building a new house. Just make sure that there's lots of natural light in there. Because with my apartment at the moment, it's just very dark all day, sadly. And that is because, well, the windows are built on the wrong side of the house. The apartment is on the wrong side of the house as well. Ah, we've been here twice now already. Okay, time to go another way. Or maybe it's probably actually time to end this video. Hope you enjoyed it though. If you did, let me know. If you want more of these videos, tell me in the comments below. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen. Oh wow, look at this. Very nice indeed.